Welcome to the Student Music Network. I'm Freya Collins, and I'm here with Nick Martin of Sleeping with Sirens. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Just hanging in Newcastle at the moment.
Yeah,
We've got two shows left of this tour, so I'm feeling a little exhausted, but very, very excited still. So yeah, doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. Yeah, so as you say, you're coming
Awesome.
to the end of the UK leg of your Control Alt Delete tour. What UK city has been your favorite to play so far?
Oh, man, that's really tough. I feel like the easy answer is always London. London is always just a wild, wild crowd, but honestly, all the shows have been incredible. I can't really single out one. Birmingham was incredible too. We did Manchester last night, which was a standout as well. I feel like every time we play, every single night, I go, "That's my favorite show," and then we play the next night. I'm like, maybe that was my favorite. So there definitely has not been a downer show so far. They've all been unreal. Like I love the UK so much. I would love to just live here. I love it here.
Yeah, that's so great. So your most
Yeah.
recent album, Complete Collapse, came out in 2022. What's been your favorite song off that then to play on this tour?
I think my favorite song to play off of that has been Crosses.
Yeah.
Um, that was one of the first songs we released from the record, but it was also the first song that I wrote for the record as well. So kind of holds a dear place in my heart. So being able to play it every single night is just a lot of damn fun. So that's probably my favorite song off the record. But if you ask me the same question tomorrow, that could change. So
Yeah.
it's like ever changing and evolving. But as of right now, Crosses is probably for sure my favorite song.
Awesome. Yeah, the album Complete Collapse feels like a very collaborative album and there's many features on it. So I wanted to know how these features kind of came about and how do you decide which ones are like right for the project?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that with every record, I feel like Kellen specifically will always say, I don't want any guests on this record. Like, I want this to just be us. And then we'll start get close to finishing it. And he goes, you know what? Like, I think that maybe this person would really fit well in this song. I think it takes some time to kind of see the vision of something once we've started creating it as far as collaborative efforts and like who would want to be involved with what we're doing. And Kellen admittedly is a person that he's been very open about it in interviews that he doesn't like giving away his parts, you know, and it's really because his lyrics come from such a very real, raw place that for someone to either sing that or be a part of what he's creating, it's a very big deal to him. Like it's not easy for him to do. But on this record, I like bringing in Charlotte Sands. You know, I've been a fan of hers for a few years, and I kept on telling the band, I was like, we have to get Charlotte Sands on a song on the new record, and everyone just kept on kind of blowing me off. Everyone's like, well, maybe no guest vocals on this. I was like, we are missing out having her. And then she had done a podcast, and she mentioned that her dream would be to be on a Sleeping with Sirens song. And Kellen heard that, and then Kellen he had sent us a text and he said, I want Charlotte Sands on a song. I was like, man, I've been telling you this for God knows how long. Like, listen to me. So all of the guests that we had all had their own separate and unique story as to how they made it onto the record, which makes the songs and the album as a whole that much more special.
Yeah, that's awesome. So recently you guys have released an acoustic version of Complete Collapse, the song. So how did that come about, and what about that song do you feel like really lent itself to an acoustic version being recorded?
Yeah, I think that we fortunately our songs somehow, some way always translate really well to acoustic. So even some of the heaviest songs we've written, we in the back of our minds are like, there's no way this could ever sound, you know, good as an acoustic song. And then we surprise ourselves and realize that a lot of the lyrical content that Kellen writes really lends itself well to acoustic songs. You know, even in our heaviest songs and he's screaming into a mic and going off in a song. Suddenly we like use those lyrics in acoustic setting and it works. I don't know how, but it's kind of the fortunate perk of this band is that we can almost turn any one of our songs into an acoustic song. And with that, though, I think it's important that we are selective about how we do that and not just do it for every single song just because we can. I think that doing for Complete Collapse, that was something that we kind of had a vision for early on when we first started recording the song, was that the melody and the lyrics and even the speed of the song would lend really well to an acoustic version. So we had some time off in Nashville before a tour and just decided, let's go to the studio and just record it right now. And so we did. And that was it.
Yeah, awesome. So this is the 7th studio album for you guys. How do you really feel like the writing process for this one has differed from everything that's come in the past?
It's a good question. It kind of blows my mind when you say 7th record. I'm like, oh my God, we've been doing this for a hot minute. I think we've tried different things on different records, even just a few records ago, and realized that some of those things don't work the best for us. And we realized after the last record that the most effective way for us to write and record music is just being together in a room. You know, we've done I'm going to write something in my bedroom and then send it to you through email, and then you mess with it, and then you send it off to our drummer, who will put something over it, and it'll come back to me. And like this, like bouncing back and forthing without being in a room, like doesn't work the best for us. For some bands, they can do that. We're very old school of just the best the most effective way for us to write music is just being in a room together. And we enjoy that. And we like being able to just bounce off of each other in a creative space like that. So the last couple of records now have just been us in a studio. Someone has a guitar idea or Kellen has a vocal idea, and we just are off to the races with that. And I think that's like such a pure, like beautiful way to create art. And it's awesome to be able to do that together and do it effectively.
Yeah, awesome. And seeing as you guys have had and continue to have such a long and successful career within the music industry, how do you feel like the music you're making now relates to like the original influences of the band? Do you think it still relates, or has it become kind of a separate entity entirely?
I think it's a bit of both. I think that we do. I think even subconsciously we tap into those early records, but more so how we felt in those early records. And that's something that we've had to focus on more as a unit over the last 4 or 5 years, is just having fun doing this. Like it becomes not fun when you treat it like a job, or like you have to create something that makes money or that hits the charts or reaches millions of people, whatever it is. Like when you start adding in all these other layers to it that just make it not fun. I think what we tap into really well from those early records is partially the sound, for sure. And I think Kellen's voice lends itself well throughout the years, that it's Kellen through and through from the first record up until now. But it's the element of like, how did we feel when we first made records, just as musicians, and trying to always strive to feel that kind of energy and fun in it. Like we want to be excited when we're writing music. We don't want it to be dull and boring and having it feel like, we have to go do that today. Like we want to be excited every day. So I think that that's what we focus on from those first records to where we are now. And I think there are some similarities in sound, but I think more so in just emotion and just where we are mentally, just having fun.
Yeah, definitely. And I was gonna ask, do you think there is like a quintessential Sleeping with Sirens sound? But you've kind of answered it yourself there. Do you think it is that emotion then?
Yeah, it's just having fun. I think that's what we see at our shows is that it's it's fans that are maybe have only listened to us for the last couple of years, but it's also fans that have listened to us from the very beginning. And the overarching theme always at our shows and with our fans is that we're just having fun. Like that's what like this is all about. It's like when we got into being in a band and doing this, like the atmosphere and environment that we always want to create is just having fun. And that is shown through our music as well. You know, we are the last band to take ourselves seriously. And we want our fans to come out, especially the fans that have been around for since the beginning, that it's nostalgic too. And there is a nostalgic feeling of us playing songs from those first couple records and being able to take people back in time a bit, but also ourselves and tapping into that. And that was like a fun time of our lives. Like when you reach into something that's nostalgic, it's something that's fun. And that's, again, just something that we try to carry on throughout everything that we do in Sirens, you know,
Yeah, absolutely. And
if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, of course it does. And so you guys are playing Newcastle tonight on tour. What are you doing when you're not performing then? Do you hang out together as a band? How have you found that balance over the years of like when you're on tour? Because I know it can be very like exhausting physically and mentally.
Yeah. How much time do you have? It's yeah, that's something that we again as a band have had to really figure out of finding balance because now that we're older, we have families, there's kids, there's like just there's so much going on at home now, which is great, but you have to find that balance, right? You know, um uh, we're not just like fresh out of high school on tour again, like ready to just leave everything behind. Um, we still we still leave everything behind when we leave, but now there's something for us to come back to for the most part, and we have to find ways to stay sane on tour. For me, like on my like during the day, I'm the first person up every single day. And I'm a huge coffee lover. I run a coffee business at home. So like my thing is coffee. So waking up early in the morning and finding really awesome local coffee shops in every city that I go to keeps me sane and grounded. Like, and it allows me to be able to explore more as I've gotten older now. Like I get to like enjoy it more since I wake up early and, you know, experience the culture and meet with people and just try to, you know, learn more about myself as I'm on tour now, even as I get older. So just like trying to find alone time is a big one for me on tour. It's how I stay balanced. If I'm around the dudes 24 hours a day, um, I'll lose my mind. So
Yeah, definitely. So now we're
yeah.
reaching the ends of this leg of the tour. What can we expect from you guys in the future? Have you got any imminent new projects or new milestones that you're looking forward to this year?
Yeah, just more touring. You know, now that we're out of the pandemic, we have the record out, you know, we're just trying to hit the ground running again and just playing a lot of shows, touring a lot, but also working on new music. Like we're always going to be continuing to work on new material. So we're doing that as well. But yeah, just a lot of touring. We're going to try to come back here as soon as we can because we fucking love it here. So yeah, a lot of touring, more music, just carrying on, you know.
Great. So I think that wraps it up nicely, really, then. Thanks so much for joining me, Nick. I've had so much fun enjoying hearing what you've had to say. Thanks for tuning into the Student Music Network, everyone who's watching. Yeah, thank you. Bye then.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good one.